a sellout crowd at Hilton Coliseum in Ames as Phillips 66 presents Big 12 basketball. Today, the 16th ranked Iowa State Cyclones hosting the Horned Frogs of TCU. Hi again, everyone. I'm Dave Armstrong along with Stephen Howard. Stephen, it's been a week-long celebration for the Cyclones after that triple overtime victory Monday night in Stillwater. But now it's back to work. And we look at our one-on-one brought to you by Sonic, two of the best point guards in this conference.
Well, Dave, no question that Kian Anderson is the most important player for TCU, and he loves this stage in hostile environments. On the road, he shoots 50% from the field, 54% from three, and averages 16.3 points per game. He's got to have a big game today. And for the Cyclones, DeAndre Kane right now is my player of the year for the Big 12. The only player in the country averaging 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. Almost had a triple-double in the triple overtime win versus Oklahoma State. Needs another one today.
Boy, it's amazing how well he has played. Here is the starting five for the Horned Frogs. Joining Anderson in that backcourt, a good-looking freshman in Brandon Parrish. Then Jarvis Ray and Amric Fields. Kavar Shepard playing with a broken left hand. Iowa State, Monte Morris making his third straight start. Hogue, Edgem, and Niang will join them in the starting five for the Cyclones. So here's Iowa State in their home white uniforms taking on the Horned Frogs of TCU, who are yet to win in the Big 12 this year, 0-9. The Cyclones, meanwhile, they've rattled off 2 straight wins. They have gone through a gauntlet of a schedule where they have played 8 straight opponents. They're either ranked at the time or are ranked now. So a bit of a breather for the Cyclones, but they don't look at it that way.
No, you can't, because the second you do that, that's the second you're going to get defeated, because while this might be a weaker TCU team, this is still a team that can beat you on any given night.
Here's Parrish for the ball. TCU will probably try to limit possessions as best as they can today.
And that's the smartest thing to do, because per possession, Iowa State is one of the best teams offensively in the country.
Shot clock is down to 3. Parrish with the shot clock expiring. In fact, that will be a shot clock violation.
And that's one of the things that you can't have. While they will try to limit possessions, you still want to have a good shot each possession. That's just a wasted play right there for the Horned Frogs.
So here is Monte Morris, the freshman out of Flint, Michigan. Allows DeAndre Kane to play off point a little bit.
Yeah, and it gives them a little bit of a breather. And I think they also like the ball control that Monte Morris gives them. But again, they have plenty of players on the bench that can play well also.
Stephen, you mentioned ball control from Morris. How about that? He played the entire game against Oklahoma State without a turnover.
And that's big, particularly when you have a freshman doing that. You've got to take care of the route.
Boy, Dustin Hogue hits threes for you. Look out, TCU.
He's only hit 16 before that one, and you're right. You got a team that can go from distance, but when you have your broken play player knocking down threes, that says something about your squad.
Here's Kian Anderson. Amric Fields, good ball fake, back to Anderson. He fires a 3. That won't go. Niang will track it down.
TCU's going to be playing in zone primarily for the whole game, and it's more because of the lack of numbers that they have. Really don't have a lot of players on the bench. Want to keep the guys on the court fresh as long as they can.
Good extra pass. That was a good look for Morris inside to Edgem.
You have one of the better teams in the country as far as assisting, and you saw it on that play right there. Willing to make that extra pass to go from a good shot to a great shot.
They average 18 assists a game, the Cyclones, Stephen. That's outstanding. And now a whistle and a foul, trying to guard Kavar Shepard. That's on Niang, his first.
We're taking a look at this last play, and you're going to see just great ball movement going from one player to the other. The ball never sticks with Iowa State, and that's one thing I appreciate as a former player. It allows a lot of different players to really go off offensively, because it doesn't matter who has the ball.
Mm-hmm. And it's the way they play. I mean, they've had 5 different players be named Big 12 Player of the Week. That's never happened in this conference before.
It really hasn't. And, you know, when you have 2 players, or 3 players really averaging over 16 points, you have to have that ball movement.
One of only 2 teams to do that, VMI the other. Niang gives it up. Another 3 for Hogue, not this time. And Amric Fields will track it down. Parrish drives in. That wouldn't go. A little bit unlucky. Niang was standing on the baseline when the ball hit him. So it'll go back to the Horned Frogs.
One of the best plays for TCU is in those pick and roll situations with Kean Anderson. It's one that they don't run a lot, only 7% of the time, but Kean Anderson is one of the best in the country at scoring off the pick and roll possessions.
Cyclones won both meetings with the Horned Frogs a year ago, although TCU leads this series 5 games to 3.
I actually had to look at that twice when I saw that and asked the SID about it. Very interesting, and the only team that TCU has an edge on in the Big 12.
And that's over and back. Trent Johnson in his second year guiding these Horned Frogs, and he knows he's up against it in a rebuilding project. And on top of everything else, and Stephen, I never ever talk about injuries because every team goes through it. But what has happened to the Horned Frogs in terms of injuries is epic. And it's something that we have to talk about because it's a big part of their story and their rebuilding.
If TCU was an NBA team, they'd be granted 3 injury exceptions, 3 mid-level exceptions to go out and get another player. It really is unprecedented for 2 consecutive years to be this hamstrung by those type of injuries, and not just injuries, but injuries to key players.
Only 4 of their 16 players this year for TCU have played in every game.
And that speaks to continuity. You don't have the same type of chemistry when you don't have the same players on the floor to get used to each other.
And the foul here is on Jarvis Ray, so Trent Johnson's had to deal with all of that while trying to rebuild this program. And for the second straight year, it looks like TCU will finish in last place in the Big 12. But brighter days are ahead. Now shooting for the Cyclones is Dustin Hogue, another one of those transfer students. The Cyclones do such a good job. Fred Hoiberg may be the rehab specialist in the country. And not that Hogue needed to be rehabbed, but certainly DeAndre Kane did. And Kane comes in as, I don't think there's a newcomer that has made a bigger impact on a program than DeAndre Kane.
Not in the Big 12 and not this year. I mean, he's come in and instantly put his imprint on this basketball team. But you got to credit also Niang and Melvin Ejim of allowing him to come in here, because those are the other 2 alpha males on this team. They had to kind of step back a little bit and share that leadership role. And DeAndre Kane, they really assimilated him. I haven't seen that on this level in quite a while.
Well, you mentioned in the Big 12, I dare say there's not another transfer in the country that's had a bigger impact than DeAndre Kane in a program. A little pressure on Kean Anderson.
And you're going to see that every time Kean Anderson gets the ball, because he's the most important player offensively for TCU. They want to make sure that he doesn't get comfortable and go off.
Kane thought about the 3 and then shuffled his feet. He did. That's a travel on the part of DeAndre Kane and a turnover for the Cyclones. So with 15:42 to go, Cyclones with a 4-point lead, and we're back after this from our friends at Phillips 66. Today's Big 12 Network game brought to you by Phillips 66. Proud to be here. By Whataburger. Swing by Whataburger today to pick up the newest all-time favorite, the Monterey Melt. By Buick. Visit your local Buick dealer to see why thousands of people are switching to Buick. And by Motel 6, the official economy lodging partner of Big 12 fans everywhere. One of my favorite places in the conference, Hilton Coliseum. A lot of Hilton magic here, and this year they are 10-1 at home. They only lost to the Kansas Jayhawks as Iowa State leads 6-2. Let's check out our Wendy's Wooden Watch, and DeAndre Kane is one of those 25 finalists at the midseason point. And look at where he ranks in terms of points, field goal percentage, assists, and steals. He is up there in the top 10 in all those categories.
And it's well deserved that he is on this Wooden Watch. The only player in the NCAA averaging 16.6 rebounds and 6 assists. And he's a guy that can affect the game in so many different ways, while it's scoring, facilitating, even scoring on the block, because he's that big hybrid type of a basketball player. It's a very difficult guard for other point guards to handle him down on the post.
So many great contributors for Iowa State Monday night in Stillwater, but I don't think anybody had a bigger footprint on that game than DeAndre Kane, especially when Niang went out, fouled out at the end of regulation, and Kane really took over in those 3 overtime periods.
Well, not only that, when you look at the numbers of Marcus Smart and where he was effective, when DeAndre Kane was guarding him, he was very ineffective as a whole. And so not only can he affect games on the offensive side, but he gave himself up for his team defensively, and that's leadership right there, Dave.
And now there's your center, Melvin Edgem, going out for 3.
And really, it's interesting. We were talking about it before the game, but really, 2 players that are in that MVP race for the Big 12 is Melvin Edgem and DeAndre Kane. For me, they're the 2 front runners, both on the same team.
Isn't that amazing? You look at Edgem's numbers, and they're eye-popping. 18 points, which leads the Big 12, and 8 rebounds a game.
Yeah, and if you remember last year, he led the Big 12 in rebounding. So one year, I'm going to lead it in rebounding. The next year, I'm going to lead it in scoring, really showing his versatility.
Matt Thomas gives it up. Quick double team on Edgem. He is able to dribble out of that, but then misses with the left hand.
TCU down 7. They don't want to get this into double digits, because this is a team that really can't score as efficiently or effectively as Iowa State.
Little double on Fields. Good ball movement by TCU. Freed up Kean Anderson, but he can't hit from the wing. 1 for 8 so far. Wow. What a start for the Horned Frogs. It's like a nightmarish start. Ball was almost kicked, wasn't it, by Shepard, but got away with it.
Really 2 careless passes by Iowa State from a team that doesn't really turn the ball over that much.
Last touch by Fields. It'll go to Iowa State. Part of the problem for the Horned Frogs, we've outlined their injuries. 10 players have missed action. 5 of their players are out for the season. And what that does is it makes it very difficult for them to have any good practices, too. So when you look at TCU, it's very difficult for Trent Johnson to put a good scrimmage together.
You're absolutely right, and it kind of reminds me of what Oklahoma State went through a couple of years ago. But practice is the only development time that you have for your basketball team, so no continuity. You really can't improve it. You have a skeleton crew in practice. It's hard to get a lot of stuff done.
Long. Was right on target, just a little bit strong. But how about the big shot that Naz Long hit at the end of the 2nd overtime period with 1.4 seconds to go to force the 3rd overtime?
Well, what was impressive to me was that was his first shot and make from 3 for the whole game. That's very difficult to come off the bench and knock down a big shot like that.
Yeah, he'd been like 2 for 17 prior to that from 3-point range. Started the year red hot and then just fell into this syndrome where he just couldn't hit anything. A quick hook by Kavar Shepard.
That really speaks to Fred Hoiberg. He believes so much in his basketball players that you know that he told him, go in there and knock down the shot.
And I think probably part of it too, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you played, But I think the fact that he didn't have time to think about that. He just got the ball and had to put it up with 1 second to go. So he didn't have to think about mechanics and where's my right hand and where's this and all that. He just fired it, and then muscle memory took over, and wouldn't you know it, it was nothing but net.
Yeah, but the muscle memory you're talking about is he's a good shooter. So, yes. I mean, you could have put Hogue out there in that situation, and I guarantee you the fact that he only had 1 second wouldn't have helped that much. Naz Long is a player that can knock down those shots. And the repetition throughout practices and games is really what knocked that shot down for him.
Foul here on Hogue is his first.
Take a look at that last shot by Naz Long. Great fast break transition, and he went in there and really acrobatic move, played through the contact. A lot of times you see perimeter players try to shy away from contact, but Naz Long went in there through it, tried to get a good shot, and he did.
TCU needs to get something going offensively. Just 1 for 10 so far from the field. They haven't hit a 3. They're 0 for 4. Christian Gore is in there. And easily picked off. Here comes Thomas. Kean Anderson tries to pick his pocket. And Long missing again. Long rebound though. And out of bounds, Edgem.
You know, Dave, even though they missed that, transition is one of the best times to take a three-point shot, primarily because no one can block out anybody. You see Melvin Edgem getting that offensive rebound. I don't know, they might have missed one on that play. It looked like a lot of contact going the other way.
Good move by Shepard. That's what had everybody all excited about him coming into this season. Naz Long for 3. And he's 0 for 3 now from three-point range. And a whistle and a foul going for that rebound. And that foul is against TCU. Now, Kavar Shepard trying to keep the Horned Frogs in the conversation with a nice spin move here. But it's an 11-4 lead for the Cyclones. Today's game brought to you by Puerto Rico Tourism Company. Live your own star vacation story. Puerto Rico, the all-star island. Visit cpuertorico.com. Well, maybe they'll head to Puerto Rico on their honeymoon. He just proposed. She just said yes.
And she was crying because I think he promised her if they ever get married, he would shave off his beard. So she's pretty excited right now.
You know what? The best thing he did was get second row seats. You can't make a proposal from the rafters, right? You can't. You've got to make sure that she understands that, look, I'm going to take good care of you. And here you are in the second row at Hilton Coliseum.
Doesn't get much better than that.
Thomas for three, no. Kavar Shepard's got the rebound. Boy, Anderson was open for three, decided not to take it.
You look at Anderson on the road, he's been really hot for TCU. He shoots 50% from the field, 54% for three, so he's going to need to get going pretty soon for the Horned Frogs to stay in this basketball game.
Foul here is on Percy Gibson, his first. Gibson getting some playing time here today. Hasn't played a whole lot lately for Iowa State. In fact, Cyclones have kind of been reduced to about a 7-man rotation of late.
Well, good teams pretty much shorten their bench to around that, particularly when you start getting towards the latter part of conference play. Because there's more than that, it makes it difficult to get guys a lot of run and so they can feel the flow on the offense.
Some of those guys down at the end of the bench today hoping as they take on TCU to get a little more playing time in this contest. Quick turnaround for the Cyclones. They play Monday night against West Virginia.
It's a big game.
West Virginia, by the way, playing concurrently with us at Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence. A little turnaround jumper. How about that from Dustin Hogue?
That looks going to be open with TCU playing in the zone. You have to keep attacking that middle. One of the things that TCU has to do is respect the jump shooters of Iowa State. And because of that, that center is going to be open all night long.
Christian Gore gets into the paint. That won't go. Shepard's right there for the rebound, but instead it's taken by Thomas. Long tries another three. Got that one. They love to shoot the threes in transition.
But what I love about Iowa State is, as you just mentioned, Naz has missed 3 shots, but Fred Hoiberg believes in his team, believes in his players, and he tells them, if you're open, shoot it, knock that down. And that's the confidence you have to have when you're a player out there.
And the lead right now at 10. It's the biggest of the game. And they're doubling down either Fields or Kavar Shepard. And frees up Gore, in and out, no good. And Kane's got the rebound.
And one of the reasons why they're doubling down on the post is because Kavar Shepard and even Amrick Field has that size advantage on the block, and you want to protect your bigs. Melvin Edgem, Dustin Hogue from getting into foul trouble.
One of the areas where Iowa State needs to button things up a little bit is on the glass. They have been out-rebounded in Big 12 play by about 6 per game. Hogue, that won't go.
And I really do think that's because of the lack of size for Iowa State. You look at Dustin Hogue, and he's not tall at all, only 6'6", playing the 4. Because of that, they're at a slight disadvantage on the glass.
Bank that one home. So the first 3 came for the Horned Frogs. Long 3. Oh, great range from Matt Thomas.
You know, Matt Thomas was struggling a little bit in that starting lineup, and it seems ever since he's been brought off the bench and more of a complimentary role, he's kind of blossomed a little bit, and his shot's flowing a lot freer.
And that's a 2-pointer that time from Amrick Fields. You're right about Thomas, Stephen. I mean, in his last 4 games, he's hitting 44% on his 3-point shots. Now Kane will try one. Nope. Here comes Gore.
Trey Johnson was not too excited about that turnover by Gore.
Not at all. In fact, got him a quick seat on the bench. Transfer from Brown University, getting a little more playing time as well. Michael Williams checked in now for TCU.
middle is open. With Niang getting the ball, he's such a good facilitator. They love to run their offense towards the end.
Like that?
Yeah, exactly like that.
Good rebound by Edger. Man, is he tough.
You know, he's such a relentless worker on the glass, defensively and offensively, and what he lacks in size and athleticism, he makes up for it in heart.
We do not talk enough about Melvin Edger in this league. 7 points, 6 rebounds in this game already.
And really what's interesting about Melvin Edger is he's leading the league in scoring, but he's never gotten more than 22 points. So he's not a guy that will hit you with 30-point games. He's getting in that 16 to 22-point area every night, so you know on each given night what you're going to get from Melvin Edger.
Yeah, that's Mr. Consistency, isn't it? And he'll go to the line here. So we've got a timeout of the Cyclones. They're already distancing themselves from TCU, and they're doing it from three-point range. And long three-point range. We're back after this from our friends at Phillips 66.
From Studio 66, a good one brewing in Lawrence between KU and West Virginia. Check out the inbounds play to Andrew Wiggins. That's how you draw it up. Right now, 25-22 Kansas, 9 minutes to go. Dave, Stephen.
Thanks, Doug. You can see a big game for West Virginia, especially in that log jam. Now, Kansas State, with their win earlier today, they make it even a bigger log jam as Texas falls to 7-3. And what a blowout win for the Wildcats today, 74-57. And Foster was terrific with 34 points.
Yeah, and that's what makes this game so important for Iowa State. You want to stay in that hunt in the middle of the pack, and really the race for second place in the Big 12 is not over. And I do believe that's going to go down to the end. So competitive in the middle right now in the Big 12.
And the other line to draw is the top 6 teams, because the bottom 4 have to play on that first day of the Phillips 66 Big 12 championship.
And that's very important, because you can sit back, you can kind of game plan, but most importantly, you can get rest. And at the end of the season, there's nothing more important for a player is rest.
I'm going to make a prediction. Melvin Edgem will have a new career high after today. His previous career high, 23. He has scored 22 5 times this year. He already has 9 points in this game.
I'll let you have that.
All right, I'm going out on a limb with that. Standing on the baseline, Kean Anderson, another turnover for TCU. That's 6 already for the Horned Frogs.
Now, you do realize for him to get that high, TCU's going to have to stay close the whole game.
I know. That's the caveat there. You
didn't say that.
Of course. Can't say everything.
TCU now in man-to-man. And then this is where they're going to get in the danger zone because no one's better on the block than George Niang.
Good block, though, by Kavar Shepard. And a good hustle play by Michael Williams.
That really surprised me that Kavar Shepard was able to get that block on that play because in high school, Niang played against Nerlens Noel, one of the best shot blockers last year in the country, and was able to kind of maneuver and learn how to get a shot off against more athletic, taller players. But Kavar Shepard did an exceptional job getting a block on that play.
Foul on my man Edgem. That's his first.
That's the other thing you can't do is get another foul because for sure he'll be on the bench for the rest of this half.
I jinxed him. I just do. I did doggone it. Good move by Shepard. He's looking more comfortable and more confident now than I just saw him about 3 weeks ago, and he looks like a different player.
The leaps and bounds that he's made offensively for Kavar Shepard really has been amazing for a freshman. But part of the reason why he's been able to do that is because of the injuries, and he has to play a lot of minutes. He averages over 30 minutes a game, which is going to be great for TCU next year.
Good ball fake by Edgem. Can't get the floater to go, and the rebound comes to TCU.
Thought Edgem could have made a dump-off pass to George Niang on that last play.
In transition, a three from Fields.
And that's really where TCU has to try to make inroads in this game, is in transition before the defense of Iowa State sets up.
Oh, wow. The lob inside from Niang.
And that's a design play that they run a lot of times, and you saw them in practice yesterday running that repeatedly, and they put it in the hands of Niang. And then behind the defense goes either Edgem or Hogue to get that nice little lob.
Edgem's now got 11. Little block by Monte Morris.
Two of the Iowa State players left before they had corralled the ball.
Almost too much time for Amric Fields to set up for that one. Oh, good look. What a baseline pass from Matt Thomas to Melvin Edgem, and a timeout for the Horned Frogs.
You know, Dave, that's what Melvin Edgem primarily was his first 2 years, broken play players. And you're looking at this last play and watch the drive by Matt Thomas. And there's Melvin Edgem on the baseline, making himself available. First 2 years, that was all he got his look from. Now he's able to create for his teammates. But Melvin Edgem, one of the better players in the Big 12 at scoring down on the block.
I really thought Matt Thomas was going to be trapped in the corner. Instead, they turn it into a couple of points for Melvin Edgem. Hey, we invite you to log on to Big12Sports.com/CTB. Check out the Big 12 Network announcer blogs covering the baseline. And this week, Mark Neely takes a look back at the first half of the season. Well, Iowa State kind of on the uptick again after they had dropped 3 in a row. Now they've won 2 straight. They have gone through the gauntlet. Their last 8 opponents have either been ranked at the time they played them or are ranked now. They went 4-4 during that stretch. Of course, 2 of those losses to the Kansas Jayhawks. Against ranked opponents, at the time they played them, they've had 8 games this year. They're 6-2 against ranked opponents this year.
I think that speaks as much for the strength of the Big 12 as anything. Really no easy wins in this league this year.
There's another rebound for Edgem. That's 7 of those.
Your closeout defense against Iowa State has to be on point. Any number of them can knock it down from 3, as you've seen in this game already. And if you get out on them, you still have to be wary of the interior.
There's the interior. Wow!
You saw DeAndre Kane splitting the defense, and again, each time the basketball goes through the middle, the bigs of Iowa State knows to cut to the basket because they know if they're open, they will throw it up for them. One of the more athletic front lines of bigs in the Big 12.
Edgem has the last 10 points for Iowa State and has 15 in the game. Poked away. TCU maintains control. Amrick Fields, tough shot.
And you're noticing all the high degree of difficulty for TCU. They're not getting a lot of points off their offense. They're playing a lot of isolation ball. And for isolation basketball, TCU is one of the worst in the Big 12. They work better most of the time when they're able to use their offense for scoring.
Well, the edge to the Cyclones and to Melvin Edgem. 10 straight points for this senior from Toronto. And a lot of them of this variety. It's 29-16.
Coming up in the Studio 66 halftime report, Brendan Mansell will have a breakdown of this first half in Ames. A good one in Lawrence right now between West Virginia and KU. And a major statement made by Marcus Foster and K-State. We'll have all the highlights. Back out to Dave and Steve.
Thanks a lot, Doug. Here in Ames, it's Iowa State leading at 29-16. Under 3 minutes to go in the first half. And Melvin Edgem has been special. He's already in double figures with 15 points. He has 7 rebounds. He has now been in double figures in 24 straight games. He is Mr. Consistency.
He really is. But what's important is how he's gotten a lot of his points, and that's through assists. Right now, Iowa State has 10 assists on 11 made field goals. Normally, they assist on 62% of all plays. That's top 13 in the country. Today, they're knocking it out the park, assisting on 91% of all their made field goals.
This little pull-up jumper that won't go, though, for Brandon Parrish.
And Brandon Parrish is the best three-point shooter for TCU, and he needs to get some looks and knock something down, take some of the offensive pressure off the Horned Frogs. That's going to allow them to play a little bit more freer, and I'm sure you would admit, Dave, one of the more hostile crowds in Big 12.
Well, one of the best crowds, I think. You know, knowledgeable,
best
good.
Is,
Yes.
I don't mean mean.
No. I know what you're saying.
I mean, as a player, you want to have a loud and raucous crowd. You feed off of that kind of stuff.
Niang loses the handle. Do it a little ahead of himself.
Yeah, trying to do a little bit too much. He can put it on the bounce, but that was a little bit much.
Oh, good move by Keenan Anderson. Did everything but finish. And another rebound to guess who? That's 8.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, though, that TCU and Keenan Anderson needs to attack more is the rim, because Iowa State really doesn't have a rim protector. They don't block a lot of shots either.
Niang just says, all right, I'll just hit a 3. Why not? And they've doubled the score now, the Horned Frogs. 9 straight points by the Cyclones.
And that's one thing that really hurts TCU, because in games in both halves, they have these lulls where they don't score, where they let the opposition get going offensively. You don't want to do that against Iowa State.
Yeah, that was a wide open look for Anderson. For a long time, a wide open look. Kane. No basket. And it's an offensive foul on Kane as Jarvis Ray stood his ground. Kane still scoreless in this game. He does have 3 assists.
Looking at this last play, watch the feet of the defender to see if he gets in legal guarding position. He has to be set, and he looked like he might have slid a little bit into him, so that's one of those 50-50 calls. That's still one of the toughest calls to make for college basketball, and unlike us, they don't have the benefit of the replay.
I think they made it tougher, too, with this new rule where you have to decide whether is he starting his upward motion or not and all of that. I think it's tougher now on the officials than it's ever been.
Well, they did that to allow them more time. I just think they have been so accustomed to the old rule, it just takes that learning curve that, admittedly, I don't think a lot of these officials have gotten over yet.
Back-to-back threes by Kean Anderson. Much needed, as now it's a 10-point game again.
And that's important. You want to go into halftime at 10 or below, get some momentum, but you don't want to get too far behind one of the more offensively talented teams in the Big 12 and in the country.
Going about now with 10 on the shot clock. Finds Thomas in the corner. Nope. But Edgem has another rebound.
Just love the work ethic of Edgem. Just never gives up on the basketball.
15 points, 9 rebounds in the first half. And that's the way the first half comes to a close. Well, the back-to-back threes by Kean Anderson helped, but Melvin Edgem was just too special. 15 points, 9 rebounds for Edgem. And it's a 10-point Iowa State lead as we get you to Doug Bell in Studio 66.
All right, Dave, thanks so much. Doug Bell and Brendan Manzer. I would think after that triple overtime thriller in Stillwater, you would have somewhat of an emotional letdown. And I think we saw a little bit of that, but Iowa State really too talented for TCU.
And Melvin Edgem, leads them once again. It's just every game is with consistency.
Yes.
I mean, you know exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get about 18 and 8, which you already almost has in the first half. But it's his versatility within the Iowa State offense. His great ball movement off dribble penetration, drive and kick. They enter to him on the post. He can score in the paint. TCU in a zone right here, they forget about him. Respectable three-point shooter at 37%. And this is where I love him. His energy on the offensive glass at 6'6", relentless, 9 rebounds the first half, and there's 2 of his 15 points. So he hurts you, Doug, in many different areas of the floor. And if you look at the shot chart, look at the work in the paint. And then again, the 1 3-point shot that goes down, you can't forget about him there. Terrific first half from him, obviously.
Yeah, he is terrific. Maybe the player of the year, we shall see. Remember now, when we all get to Kansas City for the Big 12 championship, the fun run, family fun run, is on Saturday morning prior to the championship game. All the guys will be there. Reed, Dave Armstrong, Stephen Howard, Brendan Manzer. We may even get Mitch Holtis out there to run it. Of course, it depends on the weather for Mitch, but we'll see. Sign up right now. 12 Network game is brought to you by Phillips 66. Proud to be here. This week's Classroom Champion brought to you by none other than Phillips 66. Proud to be here, and Perry Ellis is playing right now for Kansas, has their 3.19 GPA in sport management. Congratulations goes out to Perry. Speaking of the Jayhawks, what a game going on right now. Look at the lob against West Virginia. Andrew Wiggins, they forgot about him. How can you forget about Wiggins?
There's nobody in the paint defensively.
Check out Aaron Harris, though. He brings West Virginia back, who's really playing some good basketball right now. He hit 3 consecutive trays, and that's from way downtown Lawrence. And he's dangerous, Brendan.
Yeah, one of the top three-point shooters in the Big 12 Conference, 43%. He has 13 points, and he has kept West Virginia in the game. They're holding their own on the boards as well, Doug, and they have to do that in the second half.
Meantime, the game earlier today in the Big 12 Network, Rick Barnes and the Longhorns have won 7 in a row, but look out for Marcus Foster. Wow. He's a little guy. He elevated, and then he can show off his shot from the outside. It was all Marcus Foster. I mean, he was terrific today, Brendan.
Yeah, 5 threes, 8 of 8 from inside the arc. Their defense produced offensive opportunities like this, and they really established the tempo from the get-go, played well today.
Hey, check out the Cyclones. Up and under. We're right back after this. Mere friends at Phillips 66. C6 Player of the Week is West Virginia's Juwan Staten. In 2 games last week, Staten averaged over 27 points a game. And against K-State last week, 35 points. Tied a West Virginia record with 18 free throws. Top 25 scores. No upsets in the top 25 today, Brendan. Upset free.
How about Virginia quietly 10-1 in the ACC for the first time since 81-82? Is that Ralph Sampson days there?
I think so. That's going back
a long time.
It has been a long time. Meantime, check this out. That's some great screening. Melvin Edgem could have a career high so far. He has 18. 23 is his career high. Play basket pong at Phillips 66 for a chance to win prizes instantly and shoot for $66,000. Phillips 66, proud to be here. Back here at Studio 66, Doug Bell with Brendan Manzer. Let's talk a little TCU. They've never won a road game in the Big 12. What must they do now in the second half to get back into it? I mean, they're down by only 10.
Yeah, obviously the first 5 minutes are important in terms of confidence for them, but they've got to quit settling for jump shots against Iowa State. Kean Anderson, after some ball movement, you got to attack the paint, try to create some opportunities that way, get some touches inside. But first half, too many jump shots for them allowed Iowa State to get the boards, which they have dominated because they're +9, and it's dangerous if you allow Iowa State the opportunity to get out and run.
And Melvin Edgem, his career high is only 23. I would have thought he had a 30-point game somewhere.
And he averages 18.
Very consistent.
That's strange stat, really, but I think that speaks to his consistency. Dave Armstrong and Stephen Howard have talked about that in the first half. Of course, we've touched on it, but that's a tremendous stat. I mean, you know what you're going to get every night, and it's high level of play from Melvin Edgem. He's been a lot of fun to watch over the last few years. And,
of course, Iowa State, one of only 4 D1 schools that had 3 players averaging over 16 points, so they continue to spread the wealth. I think DeAndre Kane has been solid, as always.
Well, he's a guy that can go make plays, and if you're not getting shots to fall, which has happened with Iowa State at times, they rely on that perimeter three-point shot. What he gives them is a guy where you can get the ball in his hands, get a little rub off a ball screen, maybe a little ball movement where you can get him some space, and he can go make a play. You can always get a shot if you've got DeAndre Kane on the floor.
Yeah, he's an experienced guy. Now, this guy's a freshman, the highest-ranked player ever recruited and signed by TCU. Kavar Shepard needs more of that in the second half.
Everybody getting back to their seats now here at Hilton Coliseum in Ames, Iowa, with the Cyclones leading it 32-22. And you talk about Hilton magic. We saw quite a magic show at halftime. I still don't know how they did all of these tricks. Amazing stuff with Stephen Howard, who fortunately has not disappeared. I'm Dave Armstrong, and man, that was a great show too for the Cyclones in the first half.
It was, and there was no magic, no sleight of hand, just a great team with a great offensive show from that first half. But first for TCU, Kean Anderson really found his stroke early from the three-point line, and his teammates did a good job of getting him the basketball. We can knock those threes down. They're going to need more of that in the second half. But for the Cyclones, Melvin Edgem really doing his thing, making himself available for his team, and then that nice design play where he goes back door for the lob. Iowa State playing well, but Melvin Edgem playing extremely well with 15 points, 9 rebounds in the first half.
Well, what a half for Melvin Edgem, and it's Iowa State with the ball first, leading it by 10, and Kane goes right to the hoop where he is fouled. A foul on Parrish, his first. Let's check out our first half numbers, brought to you by Papa John's.
And I think really what stands out for me for Iowa State, 11 assists on 12 made field goals, and for TCU, 8 assists and 7 turnovers. So you're basically negating those assists. Iowa State doing everything they have to do at home to win this basketball game.
The other thing, Iowa State dominating the glass in this contest. That's the first point for DeAndre Kane.
And this is the first time this year that he's been held scoreless in that first half, and it was going to be interesting for me to see how aggressive he was going to be offensively. And you saw the first possession for Iowa State, him attacking the rim, initiating that offense.
In a sense, I think it was kind of cool that he didn't score in the first half, in that he was more interested in setting up teammates.
Right, and at the end of the day, he's a facilitator, he's a point guard, and he doesn't really have to search for his offensive game, but he is that third wheel on this team, that third offensive cog, and he needs to produce offensively.
Well, we invite you to play basket pong at Phillips 66, a chance to win prizes instantly and shoot for 66 grand. Phillips 66, proud to be here. So here is Kavar Shepard. Broke the finger on that left hand, playing with a splint you can see on the ring finger and baby finger.
I asked him before the game, I said, you don't really even use your left hand, do you, big fella? And he goes, yeah, I got my little baby hook in the lane.
So you look at that, Trent's playing with that splint. It seems like everybody for the Horned Frogs has something wrong with them.
Well, at this point of the year, even Iowa State, I guarantee you there's no one on the team for them that doesn't have some sort of bruise or malady afflicting someone.
Look at that little move by George Niang.
What I love about Niang is you look at him, he doesn't pass the eye test for really any team probably in Division I basketball, but you get him on the court and he makes things happen offensively for himself and as well as his team.
I thought it was neat the other night when they played Oklahoma State. Wally Zerbiak tweeted out about George Niang. He said, I love his old man game, and I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, he's a below-the-rim player. I talked to him before the game, asked him how he likes to play on the post, and he likes to field the defensive player, and that allows him to really maneuver. No one better in the Big 12 at footwork, and you saw it right there. Nice spin move through the baseline, going away from the defense.
So what do you mean by he feels the defensive player?
Well, looking at this last play, he just spots up for 3. Nice pump fake. You have to respect his shot and then able to put it on the bounce and attack the rim. But when I say he likes to field a player, when they're guarding him defensively, when he's pounding the ball in, he feels the player defending him. And if he doesn't feel him, he faces up. He has the ability to knock down the 15-foot jump shot.
Niang on the year, a 79% free throw shooter. 5 points, 4 rebounds so far in this contest.
Whenever you have a player like Niang that's a below-the-rim player and a very effective player, you're going to have a player that has a very high basketball IQ, and I believe that's the case with George Niang as well.
Ray tries the 3. That won't go, and the rebound to Hogue.
Saw a very good closeout by Iowa State, and their scramble defense in that pick and roll was exceptional on that possession.
Shot won't go for DeAndre Kane. Here comes Anderson.
Kane looks a little frustrated on that last possession, trying to get that offensive going.
Three-pointer good. Brandon Parrish hit a couple of big ones against Texas. The Horned Frogs actually were tied with the Longhorns with a little over 3 minutes to go in that game the other night. Just couldn't close out.
Parrish has been struggling during conference play from 3, only 6 for 21, 29%. He's a guy that has to be a constant, consistent shooter for them to really stay in games in Big 12 play.
2 more for Edgem. He's got 17.
Did you tell him what you said?
I did not. I did not want to put extra pressure on him. 2-point attempt that time by Jarvis Ray. A good idea by Monte Morris, but well foiled by TCU.
One of the few turnovers by Monte Morris that he's had in a while, and he's a player that's increased his playing time once Big 12 conference play started. He's averaging about 32 minutes a game.
Well, Jarvis Ray misses point-blank range, but gets it back. You're right about Morris. He has 30 assists and 5 turnovers in Big 12 play this year. Little pick and roll. Oldest move in the book. And a foul here on Kavar Shepard.
And they lead the Big 12 in assist to turnover ratio. Iowa State 1.73, and that's because of the ball control of Monte Morris, DeAndre Kane, but also the bigs. Melvin Ejim, George Niang, they don't turn the ball over. And even though they're not a great defensive team, when you don't turn the ball over, it has a similar effect of getting steals defensively because you're creating extra possessions.
Hogue will get a breather.
Talk about Dustin Hogue and basketball IQ, and the coaching staff, they rave about Hogue and his basketball IQ, really saying that he probably has the highest basketball IQ on the whole team.
Niang misses 2 free throws, and then TCU is still a turnover. It's one of those unforced mistakes you just can't make and causes Trent Johnson to pace the sidelines.
I might as well just sit down because there's nothing that I can do. That's what he's thinking. But yeah, there's nothing that frustrates a coach more than an unforced turnover. And really, that's what TCU didn't do against Texas, and that's what allowed them to stay in the game.
How about that little play? Niang to Ejim again, who's now got 19. Remember, I made this bold prediction that he would have a new career high today. As 23 his previous career high against Oklahoma last year.
Iowa State has that backdoor lob facilitated by George Niang really down to perfection. And it's really hard to guard because if you don't guard Niang, he's going to set up for that shot and knock that down. So you have to take away something.
So that's a travel on the part of Ray. Another turnover for TCU, and Melvin Ejim picking up where he left off from the first half. We're back after this from our friends at Phillips 66. higher than Mayer for Fred Hoiberg here in Ames, but if so, he probably achieved it after this triple overtime victory on Monday against Oklahoma State. First win for Iowa State in Stillwater since 1988.
Oh, no, it's not good.
So Iowa State in the second overtime. Big shot here by Naz Long to send it into the third overtime. And a huge shot here by Monte Morris. And then at the buzzer, no good. And it's Iowa State winning by 1 in triple overtime. And what a celebration. The players were talking about it here in Ames. They'd go to class and their philosophy professor would say, hey, nice shot or good play here. I mean, they were real heroes all week long on campus.
I think it showed great fortitude by them fighting through a very difficult place to win at. And really have Monte Morris that could have won it in regulation, and he ends up being the guy that knocks it down. Again, believing in himself and that confidence that Coach Fred Hoiberg puts into his team.
Yeah, the foul here is on Monte Morris, his first.
And taking a look at just being aggressive, forcing the issue. Kean Anderson, one of the quickest first steps in the Big 12, taking Monte Morris and playing through contact, but first initiating that contact, get you the N1 opportunity.
Anderson with 10 points, make it 11 now. And TCU don't look now, but they're back within 8. The lead 16 once upon a time for Iowa State.
Again, TCU back in the zone. And this is where you're going to see them play through the middle, getting that in and out action.
Shot clock down to 7. Morris drives in. Nice play.
And that's what I like when I see teams, you bring the ball side to side, but then when a player gets the opportunity, you penetrate the gap because the zone is going to show you seams. Monte Morris did a good job of exploiting that on that play. And you see one of the benefits of having a big guard like DeAndre Kane able to get up and get the defensive rebound and push it in transition, averaging 6 rebounds a game.
Three-pointer, how about that? The freshman steps up with a drive to the basket and then a 3.
Well, Monte Morris was playing with the varsity since 7th grade in high school, Flint, Michigan. Everybody knows Flint, Michigan puts out ballers. He's another one in a long line, Mr. Basketball in Michigan.
How is that possible to play with the varsity in 7th grade?
Well, he didn't actually play. He practiced. He couldn't play because of rules.
Right.
But, hey, you know, it gave him valuable experience.
No kidding. Edgem with another rebound. He's got a double-double now. 19 points, 10 rebounds. Kane loses the handle. Edgem with another rebound.
They got numbers.
Oh, boy, do they ever. Wow! So Melvin Edgem, coast to coast. He gets the rebound and finishes at the other end. Yet another double-double, his 8th of the year. And today's game brought to you by Puerto Rico Tourism Company. Live your own star vacation story. Puerto Rico, the all-star island. Visit cpuertorico.com. With Stephen Howard, I'm Dave Armstrong. Glad to have you courtside with us here at Hilton Coliseum in Ames, Iowa, where the Cyclones are starting to pull away now from TCU after the Horned Frogs got within 8. Melvin Edgem has just been unbelievable. 21 points, 11 rebounds. His 8th double-double this year, 30th of his career. And yet again over 20 points. And as you mentioned, Stephen, he has just been so consistent. A guy that averages 18, but hasn't scored more than 22 anytime this year.
Yeah, and I think really what strikes me this game is how he's gotten all or the majority of his points, and it's been through assists through his teammates, and they've been finding him, but he's made himself available. But it goes to the unselfish nature of the Cyclones.
There's Kian Anderson, his 3rd three-pointer. He's got 14. Shepard.
Well, we saw the magician at halftime, and Niang is a magician with angles. He knows that he can't over-athleticize the opposition, so he's got to create those, and there's no one better with his footwork in the Big 12 than Niang.
Kian Anderson looks like he's decided to just try to take over a little bit offensively.
Well, that's really what he has to do. I mean, he's the only player for TCU that can create for himself off the dribble.
And there's Niang, the passer.
And that's really what makes his team so difficult to guard. And Coach Fred Hoiberg is a master at exploiting mismatches. But that doesn't work if you don't have unselfish players, and that's what the Cyclones have, and that's why they're so effective offensively.
Three-pointer, Amric Fields. How do you like this number? 18 assists on 20 field goals this year or this game for Iowa State. 18 of 20. Foul here on Ray. And that'll be the 3rd on Jarvis Ray. So he'll check out of the game. Niang, little push off. And there'll be a foul on George Niang, and that's the 3rd on him. I thought what was interesting for Fred Hoiberg the other day against Oklahoma State, they had been playing pretty much the entire game through George Niang. And then he fouls out at the end of regulation. They had to change their game plan and win in triple overtime.
But that's the benefit of having DeAndre Kane, a guy that can post up as well. And both he and DeAndre Kane are so effective on the block. And that's where you saw DeAndre Kane being that man, that facilitator, which is natural for a point guard, but doing his work down on the block.
Parrish tries a 3. No. Good rebound, though, by Fields. And guess who? Edgem with his 12th rebound.
And I think that's where you see Amric Fields not being 100% yet, probably still around 65, 70% after that injury from last year that he sustained. But next year, when he's at 100%, they have their full complement of players. It's going to be a different story for TCU.
Guess what? Melvin Edgem has just tied his career high. Don't miss this, folks. When we come back, he'll go to the line for a new career high. Basket pong at Phillips 66. Chance to win prizes instantly and shoot for $66,000. Phillips 66 proud to be here. Boy, what a day for Melvin Edgem.
And he's done a great job of taking what the defense gives him. That great design play that they've exploited many times, the backdoor lob, and then just being around the rim. And Melvin Edgem only missed 3 shots today, 10 for 13. What's really impressed me is the fact that he's doing it on the glass as well, leading rebounder on both teams with 12, 3 offensive. But that's what you want your leader to be, and I think what's important about Melvin Edgem is when he was a freshman, he had so far to go, nowhere near where he is right now. And he's a person right now that not only can he score himself, but facilitate for his players, something that he couldn't do as a freshman.
Do you think he had any idea the amount of pressure, the immense pressure on him on that free throw, the pressure that I put on him to reach a new career high, which he has now done?
I guarantee you didn't. There's only a couple players to ever play the game that can play through that sort of pressure, and we're talking about the Michael Jordans of the world, and you just can't do that to a player there.
Kian Anderson, by the way, with 19 points in this game. That's a foul on Edgem, charging in. That's his second foul.
See, Edgem actually, this is not the charge. This is Kian Anderson knocking down a 3. Good shot by TCU, getting the ball to Kian Anderson, who's playing extremely well in the second half.
Yeah, he has 19 points now for Kian Anderson, and he is 4 of 7 from three-point range. He's the kind of player that's capable of that.
He really is, and as I mentioned earlier, the only guy that can really create for himself off the dribble.
Quick foul on Dustin Hogue, his second.
And that's a part of Kavar Shepard's game that's really blossomed towards the latter part of Big 12 play. TCU isn't very good at all as far as scoring on the block, and he's showing the ability to get the ball in the paint, back it down, jump hook over either shoulder. The ceiling's going to be high for that young man. He's already got the athleticism.
Shepard now with 9 points to go along with 6 rebounds today. And back to a 9-point contest. Poked out by Anderson. It'll stay with Iowa State with 23 on the shot clock.
One thing that Iowa State is doing today that they haven't done a lot of this season is turning the ball over. Already with 10 turnovers, they only average 10.6 per game. So they've been a little bit careless in this game today, but credit TCU kind of dictating the pace and putting Iowa State at times in an uncomfortable type of pace. They like to go up and down a little bit more.
Kane, sensing an advantageous matchup, took it right to the rim, but cannot convert. Kane today is 0 for 4 from the field. And a timeout taken by Fred Hoiberg. Not happy at all as TCU beat the Cyclones down the court.
And taking a look at that last play, TCU with Kian Anderson just taking advantage of the numbers game. And I think that's really what they're going to need to do is push that envelope, and when they have numbers, try to score, if not sit back and get some out of the half court. But you want to make something happen before Iowa State's able to set up their defense.
So you look at the basketball power index in the Big 12, and Iowa State's at number 7. I mean, that's outstanding. They have one of the toughest strength of schedules in the country, top 10 there. Kansas, of course, ranked number 2 in the country in the BPI. Oklahoma State, despite a record of 4-5 in league play and 16-6 overall, still very good in the BPI. And right now, Joe Lunardi has 6 teams in from the Big 12 on his bracketology. Whoa. And that'll be a foul on Shepard. That's 2 on Kavar Shepard. 6 team fouls on TCU this half. So after this, Iowa State will be in the bonus. Kane again. Again, he feels that matchup with Michael Williams on his hip. And Williams picks up his first foul, which will send Kane to the line. Kane's on, it seems like, everybody's watch list. The Wooden watch list, which we told you about earlier, the Oscar Robertson watch list, and the Bob Cousy watch list. And right now, your front runner for Player of the Year in the Big 12.
Yeah, he's played amazing, and what makes it more astounding is the fact that this is his first year here. He's a senior, last go-around, but he's done everything he needs to do for the Cyclones all year long.
We go back to the line again.
And this is where DeAndre Kane is so special in isolation plays. He has the ability to go on the bounce. He's improved his jump shot, but I think where he's most effective is down on the block, which for a point guard it's so difficult for the opposing point guard to defend somebody that big down on the block. And he uses that to his advantage.
Well, he's just filled up the stat sheet. He's averaging 16.5 points, which is 7th best in the league. He's averaging even better than that in league play only, almost 19 points a game. He's averaging almost 7 rebounds a game, which is 12th in the league. Not to mention his assists, 6 assists per contest. So he really influences the game. Kavar Shepard. Well, it's a 7-point contest. The Cyclones have not put away the Horned Frogs. Niang with the left hand this time. Shepard going for the rebound, but he knocks it out of bounds. And it'll be Iowa State's ball.
I thought that was a bad possession by Iowa State when Niang has Kavar. He needs to do like this and put on the bounce and attack the rim.
Niang goes down hard and gets up slow. I would have counted had it gone for Brandon Parrish. He'll go to the line. And you can see Niang trying to shake off the effects of going down to the court. Looked like he banged his wrist a little bit.
And here's Niang going against Kavar Shepard and just lands a little awkwardly on his hand.
And here's Parrish at the line, a freshman. His coach says, I hate to use this term, but it's true with regards to Parrish, and that is he's a gamer.
Yeah, the whole coaching staff is really excited about him. Feels like you look 3 years down the line, he's going to be a very special player. And I talked to a lot of opposing coaches about him. A lot of other Big 12 schools that recruited him, and they thought he'd be good, but not this good this early.
Crowd going a little bit antsy here. The fact that Iowa State, who led by 16 early, is now just ahead by 7, and there's contact inside. This foul is on Shepard, and it's his 3rd. And again, Iowa State in the bonus, which will put Niang at the line, although today he's just 1 of 4 from the free throw strike.
That's Niang being crafty, high basketball IQ. Knows the officials are looking at him, creates some contact, gets the call to go his way.
Stephen, here's what he's done in his last 5 games, Niang. He's averaged 21 points and 5 assists, plus he's hit 50% of his three-pointers. Before he fouled out against Oklahoma State, he had 17 points against the Cowboys on Monday. Whistle and a rebound. And guess what? Another foul, too. And that's 4 now. And Trent Johnson looks down his bench and says, oh, man, we can't lose the big fella, but I think he has for a while. 4 fouls on Kavar Shepard. And yet another rebound for Edgem, which makes 14 of those for him.
That's what you call a freshman mistake. If he was in the league, it'd be a rookie mistake. And just watch Melvin Edgem. He just is first, and he uses his balance to go around Shepard because he's got the quickness. He fakes the inside move and then makes the outside move, and that's something that he's just going to have to learn with experience. It'll be a good learning moment, a good teachable moment for Kavar Shepard.
So career high 26 points for Edgem. Should I go out on yet another limb and say he'll have a career high in rebounds? He has 14 now. His career high is 16.
I think there's a good possibility that's going to happen.
The lead is back to double figures. Amrick Fields has kind of been silent this half. There's Parrish, a three-pointer that won't go. Edgem can't quite corral the rebound. Little step-back move by Kean Anderson, and there's Parrish with the flush.
And really the last 5 minutes, TCU has taken the momentum in this game, and you're seeing more active on the offensive and defensive side, and you got to credit Kean Anderson, who carried the load early on. Now his teammates are stepping up to roll with him, kind of built that tempo.
Edgem, a three. Almost he could sense that Iowa State needed that. And the senior steps up.
Well, that was a smart move by Trent Johnson. You got the momentum, you sit back in the zone, you force him to take a jump shot. But Iowa State is so good, really, with the spot-up jump shot, they're able to knock it down.
Good move by Fields, no. Here comes Kane. Morris spots up for three, no. Edgem. Wow, what a game.
And that's Melvin Edgem's game. He's a hard worker. First 2 years, he was much like Dustin Hogue. He was a guy that broken play player, getting his offense off the glass. Now he's a guy that you have to game plan for, stepping into a shot, a nice three-point shot, and now never giving up on the play, tracking the ball down, always had a knack for the ball. Big 12's leading rebounder last year, showing that ability down the stretch, really doing everything for the Cyclones to keep the lead in this very important game.
Look at that line. 31 points on 12 of 15 from the field, including 2 of 2 from three-point range, and 5 of 5 from the line. And with those 15 rebounds, now just 1 away from a new career high in that category as well.
When you're the scoring leader in the Big 12, that's one thing, but when you're not a volume scorer, that's something that other players can respect, and doing that with minimal shots today is good for your team, shows the selflessness of this team. And again, this team is sharing the basketball at a high rate, doing it at 62%. That's top 13 in the country. They're duplicating that today against the Horned Frogs.
Stephen Edgem has almost half their points. Parrish, no, way off. Air ball.
And that's the player that you wanted to shoot it, but that's not the end result that you wanted. I think what was important about that play is DeAndre Kane threw that lob from half court. And not too many players in the country can make that lob play from half court.
Neal pass in the corner that actually caused the Iowa State player to be out of bounds, but Melvin Edgem, a career day in Ames. And we're back after this from our friends at Phillips 66.
From Studio 66, West Virginia hanging in there in Lawrence. Check out Nathan, Adrian. They can all shoot three-pointers. Now 55-50 Kansas, just under 12 to play. Back out to Dave and Steven.
Thanks, Doug. West Virginia, they've won 3 in a row, giving Kansas all they can handle today at Allen Fieldhouse. If the Jayhawks win today, they'd have a 2-game lead past the halfway point in the conference race, and certainly they'd have 2 hands on the steering wheel and definitely in the driver's seat, the Jayhawks, to win their 10th straight Big 12 title. Amazing run.
Dave, that doesn't really matter. Kansas is going to win. They've got the psychological advantage. This is the Kansas Invitational until another team says it is not. 10 in a row, which it would be amazing. And as good as the Big 12 is, Kansas has just shown the ability to weather that storm year in and year out. And really a testament to Kansas and what Bill Self has been able to continue.
Well, especially in this day and age, with the parity in college basketball. Back in the UCLA days, John Wooden winning national title after national title was a different game. Now with so much parity, and in this league, a power conference like the Big 12 to have 10 straight titles possibly, that's an amazing streak.
Well, it really shows the ability of Coach Bill Self to evolve with the times. And even 8 years ago when he won it, it was a different league in the Big 12. Now it's the one and done. He's embraced that. He's evolved with that. He's got Wiggins, Embiid, Selden Jr., 3 guys that could do that. Probably only 2 will. But it's a changing landscape in college basketball.
Emrick Fields starting to pick up his game here in the second half. Now has 16 points, 7 rebounds, 3 in double figures for TCU. And of course, only 1 in double figures for Iowa State, but it's that one. Now, is that a basket for Kane? I think it is.
Actually, Edgin caught that, but you saw the quick recognition of Iowa State. No rim protector without Kavar Shepard. Trent Johnson quickly told Kavar to get back in the game. But that's what Fred Hoiberg and Iowa State does. They exploit the mismatch. Nobody inside to deter the offense from going through it, and they just attack that weak spot.
All right, let's see. Edgin, I think he does touch it. They've given him the basket. Yeah, he does. He definitely deflects that basket in, and that's 35 points for Melvin Edgin. So he had that ceiling of 23 points, actually 22 this year, where he had scored that 5 times this season. He's just blown through that ceiling on his way to 35 today. It's the most points for any Cyclone since Craig Brackens had 42 against the Jayhawks in 2009. And Emrick Fields 2 more. He's got 18 points. Another alley-oop lob. How many times have they done that play today? Well, they've seen something on the film. They said, I think we can exploit the matchup with Edgin, whoever that is, because they've gone right after it all day. 15 of 18 from Melvin Edgin today from the field, 37 points. And some contact down low. And the foul will be on DeAndre Kane, his second.
Taking a look at that last play, and it just looked like Kane lost his footing.
Kavar Shepard is playing with 4 fouls. He has 11 points today to go along with 8 rebounds. Shepard is 5 for 6 from the line. And that was the front end of a 1-and-1 that he missed. Another rebound for Edgin there. That ties a career high with 16. Thomas a 3. Nope. And the rebound by Brandon Parrish. Shepard a 3. No. And there it is, a new career high in rebounds for Edgin to go along with his career high 37 points. could be looking at this week's Player of the Week in the Big 12, Melvin Ejim.
Looking at that last play, watch George Niang and how quickly he gets rid of the ball. He sees Ejim wide open. He seals Kavar Shepard and allows him to go basically unhindered to the rim. Ejim soft off the glass. And again, that's that selfless play by Iowa State. One of the reasons why we're leaders in the country as far as points per game.
So Melvin Ejim has just blown it up. 39 points, which is 16 more than his previous career high. Kind of makes my prediction early in the game look silly now.
It really does.
Ian Anderson, another 20-point effort. He has 21 in this game. He has 7 games this year with 20 or more. Thomas. Foul here on George Niang. And that is 4 on Niang. 73-61 our score.
Headed out of
today's Big 12 Network game brought to you by Phillips 66, proud to be here, and by Wendy's new Ciabatta Bacon Cheeseburger, available at participating Wendy's for a limited time. Well, Iowa State leading 73-61 over TCU on a day where Melvin Ejim has just been so special. 39 points, 17 rebounds. But we'll take a look at our 6th man of the game, brought to you by Motel 6. And Matt Thomas has come up with a 3-pointer and had 5 rebounds along with 2 assists in this contest. It's hard to shine or be a 6th man of the game or a contributing player in a game when Melvin Ejim has just been so special. In fact, Ejim's 39 points. He could join an elite crew at Iowa State. There have only been 8 40-point games in the history of Cyclone basketball. And Lefester Rhodes, the all-time mark of 54 points once upon a time. By the way, Fred Hoiberg is one of those guys that had one of those 40-point games. Fred had 41 against Colorado in 1995.
Fred could put him up.
Oh, yeah. TCU is still within range with about 3.5 to go. The Cyclones have kept the Horned Frogs at arm's length pretty much the whole game, and now it's Niang operating at that point. Edgem with yet another rebound and another basket. So 9 games now in Iowa State history with 40 or more. 41 and 18. Wow.
And I think what impresses me the most about the way that Melvin Edgem has done it is he's done it with his hard hat. The same way he's done it all 4 years. Really blue-collar worker. And that's the type of thing that you want from your leader of your basketball team. A guy that does it every day, brings it in practice, but then once the game time comes, he's a game time player as well.
And you can see Iowa State taking a little bit of air out of the ball now, wisely so, trying to shorten the game. Edgem. Foul on Ray is his fourth.
Fred Hoiberg played in the NBA, and he knows how to exploit mismatches. And the mismatches, who's ever guarding Melvin Edgem cannot guard him. Melvin Edgem's been able to do whatever, whenever, however he wanted to the whole night. How do you want it? That's what Melvin Edgem is telling him. Getting the ball, very successful. He's got that confidence. Only missing 3 baskets today. Amazing performance by Melvin Edgem.
So if he's smart, he will not rub it in on his coach that he's actually outscored Fred Hoiberg in a game.
Taking a look at some of the other plays that's happened today that made Melvin Edgem in his career night. It's been that backdoor lob that they exploited all night long to get him touches. But really, it's just been Melvin Edgem doing what he's done his whole 4 years here at Iowa State, attacking the rim, the jump shot that he's added to his game in the last 2 years, doing it on the offensive glass. But Melvin Edgem really showing every part of his offensive and defensive game here for the Cyclones.
Well, he's only missed 1 shot in the second half, only 3 shots the entire game. He's 18 of 21. He's perfect at the line. He has 18 rebounds. Running out of superlatives for this kid. Well, I mentioned earlier that we don't talk enough about Melvin Edgem. The whole country's going to be talking about him after today.
Oh, he's definitely going to be on some Sports Center top 10 list.
Also a foul here on Naz Long. And that's 10 team fouls now, so both teams in the double bonus. Anderson will go to the line to shoot 2. He's had a good game, 23 points, along with 8 assists in this contest. So lost in the Melvin Edgem highlights today is a really fine effort by Kean Anderson.
Yeah, and that's what he's done for the Horned Frogs all year long. Leading scorer for them, particularly on the road where he's averaging 50% from the field, 54% from 3. And you got to have one guy on your team that can take the brunt, particularly when you're on the road, and he's been that special player for them this year.
So how good is this league? When you have a team in last place, and they're probably going to be 0-10 after today, and yet they've given Iowa State a game on their home court this afternoon.
Well, statistically, it's the best league in the country. It's the top as far as RPI. Sagarin has it the #1 league. And you look at the number of teams ranked. This is a team that, I mean, you can match up with any of the top teams. Big Ten, ACC, doesn't matter.
You just don't get a day off.
No, you don't.
You talk about teams that'll be battle-tested as they head into the NCAA tournament. My goodness. You look at the Big 12 standings. And right now it's Kansas again in the driver's seat. Their familiar spot. Texas with a loss today. That kind of bunches things up. Iowa State figures to win here today to join that group of 4 at 6-4 in league play. Oklahoma State playing tonight at Texas Tech. Oklahoma has a big game against the Baylor Bears tonight.
A very big game, and I think you can look at that 7 with Oklahoma State of teams that can go into the NCAA, but here with Iowa State with that strength of schedule at 8, the BPI, which is a metric that measures teams that you play against and their strength, but the RPI rate. But for me, if your worst loss is Oklahoma, a very good basketball team, then what Iowa State's doing right now is they're looking for seeding. They're trying to get lower and lower. Once you get past 5, you're setting yourself up to a nice run through the Sweet 16.
He missed. It's amazing. Probably thought he was fouled on the play. Whoa, that's a walk. So Iowa State looking for their 3rd straight win. Going to Morgantown after this one. They leave tomorrow. Play Monday night on ESPNU. Checking in for the Horned Frogs is Hudson Price, the son of Mark Price.
Played against his dad, one of the quickest players with a crossover into a shot I've ever seen, even until this day.
The last 7.5 minutes belong to Melvin Edgin. He has scored all 20 of Iowa State's points in that stretch. George Niang finally stops that streak. And for Niang, he goes to 11 points, only the 2nd Cyclone to go into double figures today.
And there's not a lot of bigs that can guard someone going in and out, putting the basketball on a string, and then nice finger roll at the rim. George Niang has a skill set really unmatched anywhere in the Big 12 of a guy that can facilitate, put it on the bounce, knock down threes. Really not another player in that 4 or 5 position in the Big 12 that can do that.
In case you're wondering, as Anderson hits his 26th point, he's 8 of 8 from the line. His career high came against UAB when he scored 35. By the way, though, his 27 points now puts him in the 1,000-point club at TCU. Edgin's hands got that one.
You know, that was a pass by George Niang that Coach Fred Hoiberg would have rather he kept in his back pocket, but when it works, it just shows that everything is going your way for a team.
46 now for Edgin. 48. Wow!
And if you notice about that last play, DeAndre Kane could have easily have scored that. You see he had a one-on-one, but this is love right here. This is all you can say about it. This is love of a team. Why they're so successful. DeAndre Kane, knowing it's a special night for Melvin Edgin, setting him up yet again for another basket so he can get 2 points from 50. A mark that there's not too many players on this planet can say that they've gotten that many points.
Whew. I've run out of superlatives. What a day for Melvin Edgin.
I don't know what's more impressive, the 48 points or the fact that he's only missed 4 shots. But again, a team with the high assist rate as Iowa State, assisting on 62%. And you're seeing that tonight. Majority of the plays today have been assisted upon. It's a team that shares the ball, love each other, trust each other. That's basketball at its best.
Now the 48 points now is the most points ever scored by any player in Big 12 history. The previous record set by both Denny Clemente and Michael Beasley, who played for Kansas State. They each had scored 44. Well, in this one, 48 now for Melvin Edgin.
If Fred Hoiberg is the mayor, Melvin Edgin might be the Secretary of State.
How cool will that be to hear your name chanted by 15,000 people at Hilton Coliseum?
It's an experience really unparalleled to do that and to score these many points and do it in the fashion that he has.
So in a foul.
I think really what's the most special when you look at Melvin Ejim, you look at his body of work from his freshman year until now. He's a guy that you never would have suspected freshman year could be a guy that could score almost 50 points. That's a testament to his hard work and a testament to his teammates setting him up, letting him have that special night.
Take a bow, young man. Good for you.
I mean, that right there, that gave me chills just because that's a moment today that he will never, ever forget.
Neither will I. His 48 points, by the way, the second highest point total in Iowa State history. We mentioned LaFester Rhodes with 54. The most points ever scored by anybody in Big 12 history, and Iowa State is going to 18-4 overall and 6-4 in league play. So Melvin Ejim with 48 points and 18 rebounds to lead Iowa State to an 84-69 victory. Now let's send it to Studio 66 with Doug Bell and Brendan Manzer.
Dave, thanks so much. What a day in the Big 12 and the Big 12 Network. Marcus Foster earlier with a great game for Kansas State, but Melvin Ejim joins some elite company, players with 40 points and at least 15 rebounds.
Yeah,
wow.
Great company. What a wonderful performance from a guy who consistently has played at a high level all year. Nobody deserves it more than him, and 48 and 18, that's your Big 12 Player of the Week.
And we'll see him next week. Our first game, Texas Tech against Iowa State, followed by TCU against Kansas. Studio 66 starts at 12:30. I can't wait. I think Melvin Ejim just moved into first place for Big 12 Player of the Year. I think he leads that race right now. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next Saturday right here on the one and only Big 12 Network.